Chapter 49. I'd advise you not to do that, or you will regret it. Dustin remained calm and unbothered. Chris had always been nothing but a joke to him. Ha! I know you practice some martial arts, but it's not enough to defeat the men I hired. They're all experts in martial arts. Besides, even if you can fight, you'd only get chopped up by my men. Chris smiled coldly. It was a completely different matter to fight with hand-to-hand combat than armed combat. He refused to believe Dustin could survive a weapon. Hey! I don't know what grudge you hold against each other, but we set our eyes on him first. You'd better stand aside. The twins yelled. Initially, they thought Chris and his men were Dustin's backup, but they turned out to be his enemies. Who are these two idiots? Step aside, or we'll deal with you too. Chris glared at them and roared. Deal with us. Liam and Noah glanced at each other and chuckled, ha ha. We've not met someone as fearless as you in some time. Come, let us see what you and your men can do. They made some taunting gestures toward the men. Fuck. You're asking for it. Kill them all. Chris didn't waste another second and gave the order. The men armed with knives and steel poles immediately stormed forward. We should warm up. Liam and Noah grinned and stepped forward. What happened next shook Chris to the core. The twins waved their bare fists around and began to attack his men viciously. They moved at the speed of lightning, and their fists were extremely powerful. Every strike took one man down. Any unlucky fighters would die right on the spot. Chris realized something frightening. Their hands seemed to be cast from metal. One punch could create a hole through the wall. One kick could bend the steel rod in half. These people weren't human. These two were clearly monsters. In just a few minutes, Liam and Noah managed to defeat all the thugs. Not a single one of them remained. Their strength was astonishingly overpowering. How is this possible? Chris was so frightened his lips quivered. He never expected these two ordinary men to be so powerful. What a bunch of trash. I haven't even finished warming up. Both Liam and Noah felt unsatisfied with their battle. As they spoke, they turned to look at Chris, and he stumbled backward out of fear. Coward. Both of them couldn't be bothered with Chris and turned around to focus on Dustin. Now it's your turn. I hope you can surprise us. Otherwise, this would be too easy. Bring it on. Dustin waved his hand with an unwavering expression. Liam, let me have at it first. Noah chuckled and leaped forward. Chris, who had been frightened earlier, immediately got excited as he watched this unfold. He could see that their target was Dustin. Although his men were all defeated, he would be glad as long as Dustin got beaten up too. He couldn't help but look forward to it at the thought of the twins' performance just now. Dustin Rhys, aren't you good at fighting? I would like to see how you escape these two monsters. Chris laughed gleefully. At this moment, Noah made a move. His body arched up slightly, and there was a sudden force. In an instant, his body sprung forward like a praying cheetah and slammed into Dustin powerfully. Even a cow would fall, let alone a person. As Chris was gloating at the thought, Dustin suddenly moved. He reached out his hand at lightning speed, grabbed Noah's neck, and threw him against the wall. There was a loud explosion as Noah's body made a hole in the wall. Noah groaned. He felt dizzy after being hit and had lost all his strength. All his bones felt as if they had shattered, and he couldn't even move. Noah had lost all fight in just one move. Dustin glared at him coldly. He grabbed Noah with one hand like he was nothing. Stop it! Liam cried out in utter shock. He shot up and aimed a punch at Dustin's back. A muffled thud followed his punch. Dustin, who had been hit, stood as firm as a mountain. On the contrary, it was Liam who was sent flying miles away by the burst of energy. He landed harshly on a concrete wall and spat a mouthful of blood before he landed on the ground. Liam was horrified as he looked down and realized the arm he used to punch Dustin had completely shattered. His internal organs had suffered severe damage. However, He still had surging energy in his body flowing out uncontrollably, like a wildfire that couldn't be contained. Liam could not bear it anymore and spat out another mouthful of blood. Chris was dumbfounded by what he saw. It was as if he had seen a ghost. He never imagined that the pair of twins who seemed so invincible just now would be defeated by Dustin in a blink of an eye. They hadn't even made any significant moves. How could this be? This was impossible. Chris was so shocked his face turned to ash, and cold sweat dripped down his back. He had been so sure of the twins' ability. Liam and Noah were able to easily take down 20 people before. He had never seen such dauntless fighters. Logically speaking, it would be easy for them to deal with Dustin. How did they fail right at the beginning? If these two were monsters, then wasn't Dustin a beast amongst monsters?